हाय फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक। भैया बताओ, आप लोगों ने ये खबर सुनी है कि नहीं सुनी है? चीन प्रेमी पत्रकार पर भड़के जयशंकर ने जर्मनी में निकाल दी हेकड़ी। वेरी गुड। चलो देखते हैं कौन था ये चीन प्रेमी पत्रकार। कौन सी नेशनैलिटी का था, कहाँ का पत्रकार था और क्या किया उसने। वीडियो शुरू करते हैं। वीडियो शुरू करने से पहले अगर आप चैनल पर नए हो और आपने अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो जल्दी से पहले सब्सक्राइब के बटन और बेल आइकन को क्लिक कर लो ताकि आपको हमारे सारे न्यू वीडियोस के नोटिफिकेशन मिल जाए जैसे हम अपलोड करें।
अगर आपको वीडियो पसंद आता है प्लीज लाइक एंड शेयर। चलिए शुरू करते हैं।
Then apart from the Mercator Institute for China Studies, I have two questions to Minister Jaishankar on the issue of economic security that already came up. On the one hand, this is an issue of government regulation, and your government has taken much more far-reaching decisions than many others, than our German government has. For example, you see, we make jokes here about our infrastructure and our telecom infrastructure. I understand that in India, telecom infrastructure is not built by Chinese companies. You have banned TikTok, you have banned Chinese operating systems. These are, of course, costly decisions, and I'd be interested in any advice you would have on the discussions that go on if the government takes these far-reaching decisions. And the second question, you've mentioned that, of course, India wants to upgrade its industrial sector. For that, you will, I guess, depend on Chinese investments too. So how does this relate? Economic security on the one hand, on the other hand, trying to seek investment from China in crucial sectors. Thank you.
On the Indo-Pacific, it has been for us now in many ways a central preoccupation, and for very obvious reasons, because I think when you look at the world and you assess the sharpness of changes, perhaps the theater, the region where the shifts have been most marked have been really the Indo-Pacific. Now, what has happened in the Indo-Pacific? Essentially, from our perspective, because Annalena spoke about countries, democracies, those who have similar political values coming together. That's actually happened in the Indo-Pacific. You had India, the US, Japan, Australia, located at four different corners in a way of the Indo-Pacific, actually taking a decision to work together, and that's how we revived the Quad. It was something which was attempted in 2007, and then in 2017, I think the countries decided, okay, we need to have another go at it and much more serious effort. And today, in fact, for us, it's one of the major diplomatic platforms to which India is committed, and it's we hold it from the president, prime minister level downwards, different ministers, different groups. So what actually happens here? Once countries make it a point to say, okay, let's find ways of working, the kind of achievements we've had in the Indo-Pacific would be from cooperating on maritime security and maritime domain awareness, to HADR operations, to connectivity issues, to we actually have fellowships, STEM fellowships. We looked even during COVID on whether we could together make and distribute vaccines. We are doing weather extreme climate events forecasting. So we are looking at standards of various kinds. So it's in many ways for us been a very successful experiment, where and the interesting thing is, the Quad has grown in the last 7 years. It doesn't have a secretariat. It has no formal structure. There's no accession agreement. And yet, every quarter, I would say, something new is added to the Quad. And that is what happens when countries willing and, trusting of each other start to work with each other. Why is it necessary to do that in the Indo-Pacific? Because we do think that unless countries who have an interest in stability, in security, in maintaining, in ensuring that there is a freedom of choice, unless they come together. So it happens even in societies. It happens in every neighborhood that people who have good intent sometimes need to make common cause if the world has to be a better place. And in that sense, that's really what is happening in the Indo-Pacific. On the renewables, yes, if I were to look at the last year, I think it's been the wettest, hottest, coldest year probably all at the same time. We are visibly seeing the impact. I mean, in India, there are no debates whether climate change is for real or not. People experience that in their daily lives. And given the fact that so much of our country is agriculture, it actually is a matter of existence. And we are seeing the mountains threatened, glaciers, withdrawing, melting. We are seeing the coastline threatened. So there's the levels of erosion are going up. So there is, I would say the levels of interest and even public commitment to it has really been dramatically different. Now, how does it express itself?
China
Because, yes, in our parlance, we say, okay, mitigation and adaptation. In real life, it could be something like there was a big campaign last year to eat more millets.
मोदी जी ने किया था.
Now, you might think that this is a food fad. It's a very important green initiative because millets consume much less water. They are, you can grow them in semi-arid climate. There is today pressure on wheat and rice. Now, it could be that, it could be rooftop, it could be the entire it's a shift of lifestyle. What we are doing in urbanization is precisely because of that. So, for us, if you ask me, what is your answer? It's all of the above. There is nothing that we are not prepared to try and nothing we are not prepared to work with people in order really to deal with this challenge. Last question, how do you deal with some of the challenges that were asked about? You asked me a question, was it costly for you to do a switch? Here's the answer. We actually, for a variety of reasons, decided that we would ourselves take a plunge on 5G. Till that point of time, the 5G technology was either European or it was Chinese. Well, there was also Korean. Now, once we decided this is important for us, telecom means security. Now, it took us about 2.5, 3 years, really. Today, there's a massive 5G rollout, and the 5G stack is an Indian stack. So I would argue that, yes, it looks costly upfront, but then you might want to ask yourself, what is really the cost of security? And whether you've built it into the calculations that you're making. And once you make that plunge, then perhaps it's not so costly. Even business-wise, it's not so costly. We are today looking at markets for our 5G. So, on the issue of investments, look, we are not close to business from China. This is the country, it's the second largest economy in the world. It's a premium manufacturer. So there's nobody who can say, I won't do business with China. I think the issue is which sectors do you do business, on what terms do you do business? So it's far more complicated than a black and white binary answer.
फ्रैंकली बताया, एंड दैट वाज क्वाइट शॉकिंग जब बोला कि चाइना के साथ हम बिजनेस पूरा कोई बंद नहीं करके बैठे हुए, पर हाँ, क्या चीज़ हमें उनसे लेनी है, कौन सी चीज़ नहीं लेनी, क्योंकि हमने अपने सिक्योरिटी जो है देश की, वो हमारे लिए सबसे पहले सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है. तो वो बात मतलब अच्छा बोला, पूरा फ्रैंकली बताया उन्होंने.
हाँ नहीं, देखिए मेन कंसर्न पूरे क्लियर कर दिए थे कि उन्होंने बोला टिकटॉक आपने बैन कर दिया, चाइना की टेक्नोलॉजी बैन कर दी, हुआवे को बैन कर दिया, उनके 5G नहीं ले रहे थे, तो उसकी आपको बड़ा कॉस्टली पड़ा होगा 5G लाने में. और उनका आंसर था कि हमने खुद बनाया. जो खुद बना रहे हो कभी कॉस्टली नहीं होता. दैट वाज द आंसर कि हमने खुद बनाया है. द लॉन्ग टर्म खुद बनाने वाला कभी कॉस्टली नहीं होगा, मगर उनसे लेते तो लॉन्ग टर्म में सिक्योरिटी वाइज बहुत कॉस्टली पड़ता, क्योंकि उस अगले की टेक्नोलॉजी है। तो ये आंसर था। दूसरा बोला, उसने बोला कि तुमने यहाँ तो टिकटॉक वगैरह को बैन कर दिया, मगर जब तुम अपग्रेड्स करोगे, ये करोगे, वो करोगे, तब तुम चाइना से इन्वेस्टमेंट लोगे, तब क्या होगा? तो जयशंकर ने कहा डिपेंड करता है कि हम क्या लेंगे क्या नहीं लेंगे। मतलब चाइना बहुत ज़बरदस्त मैन्युफैक्चर है,
मानते हैं, सारी दुनिया
हम देखेंगे कि हमें कहाँ कोलैबोरेट करना है, कहाँ नहीं कोलैबोरेट, और कौन सी टर्म्स पे कोलैबोरेट करना है। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि हम इन्वेस्टमेंट यूं ही करवा रहे हैं उससे, जो हमारे को प्रॉफिट होगा उसी में करेंगे। यही बेसिकली था कि ऐसा व्यापार नहीं होगा जिसमें हमें लगेगा हमारा प्रॉफिट है, बेनिफिट है, उसमें व्यापार करेंगे, और जो हमने खुद बनाई है उससे बढ़िया कोई चीज़ हो नहीं सकती।
बिल्कुल। तो अच्छा जवाब दिया, वेरी नाइस। तो चलो आप भी शेयर करना अपने थॉट्स। चलते हैं, मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट वीडियो में बहुत ही जल्द। टिल देन टेक केयर एंड बाय बाय।
तो अगर आप मेरे इस चैनल पे नए हो तो जल्दी से सब्सक्राइब के बटन को हिट करो और बेल आइकन को क्लिक करो, ताकि आपको मेरा जब नया वीडियो मैं लगाऊं आपको उसके बारे में जल्दी से पता चल जाए।